To build anything that truly lasts, it takes time.
Today, I'm joined by former Civil Aviation Minister, Mr. Rajiv Pratap Rudy as well. Sir, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now. You yourself are a pilot, so I want to understand from you, as a pilot, Mr. Rudy, from this prelim report, what are your observations?
Thank you very much. Not that I'm an expert on the subject, but nonetheless, the report which figures today, AAIB report which has been presented by the government, the Ministry of Civil Aviation, and it categorically mentions few things. That A, the aircraft did take off, it reached the rotation speed, it went into the skies with full power, and also achieved the speed of 180 knots. Thereafter, certain things happened which have been indicated in the report, which relates to the fuel switch, which is used in Boeings to start the engines. And possibly the first aspect was that the switches were cut off, which actually did not happen like that. And when the pilot realized that the engines have flamed out, now flame out is engines have shut. So when the captain realized that the engines were, because he made a communication to his first officer, who was the pilot flying in this case, and he said, no, I have not done this, I have not switched off the engines. So that means the captain watched the engine power come down, and then he realized that the engine was flaming out on its own. Now this kind of thing doesn't happen, and immediately he took a corrective action. When an engine flame out in a Boeing happens, in all the Boeing planes, they are supposed to switch off the fuel control switch and switch it on, so that the FedEx gets a message that this action has to be repeated, because there is a firm confirmation of the fact that the engines started to pull up. That means engine started to gain power, and that is indicated in the report. But unfortunately, before it could actually happen, the time span was so less and the height was so less that the aircraft could not recover. The situation could have been different if it was 20,000, 30,000, 40,000 feet, because both as the procedures or as the action happens in a engine failure in a Boeing, that the APU, which is an auxiliary power unit, had started and the RAT had deployed. Both only happens in case of both engine failures. It's a rarest of rare case that at a given point of time both the engines fail, but it did happen, and it seems as per the report that the corrective action was attempted by the captain, but nonetheless he could not succeed, and he made a call, which is the last call.
Okay, Mr. Rudy, now the report also mentions in the cockpit voice recording, one of the pilots is heard asking the other, why did he cut off? The other pilot responded that he did not do so. Some are rushing to call it pilot error on the basis of this conversation and the excerpt that has been put out by AAIB in its report. What will you like to say?
I will not interpret what people have to say. I am factually going on the facts which have emerged from the report. Yes, the fuel control switch which starts the engine is a mechanical switch. It is placed in a location which automatically does not switch back to zero. And when the aircraft crashed, it was in on position. I think most of us who are making a statement have not gone through the minute details of the report, which says that the aircraft had gone in air, the aircraft did have an engine failure, and both the engines failure, and that the aircraft, when the engine switch control was the on position, means that the captain, which is a memory item in Boeing, that when there is an engine flame out, the instant action there is to switch off and switch it on. So this process has been indicated in the report was done. That means the captain manually restored the switch at a position which it was initially. So there is one question remains unanswered, and possibly the process of accident, what happened in the aircraft, the communication of the pilot is there, the corrective action is there, but why did the engine stall at the first go is not been explained, which will happen in due course of time. And that is the only question which I will conclude, and that is all what I have to say. But thanks to the government, it has come out with a factual report, which has been corroborated with the black box, along with the details, with a sachet which was brought from America to decipher the computers and so forth and so on. So it is a report which will lead to the final cause of what caused the engine to flame out. Thank you.
Okay. You know, with your permission, if I could just slip in one more question. No recommendation for Boeing or the engine maker? Isn't it like giving a clean chit to them already?
No, there is an engine failure which has been reflected in the report. So there is no question about it. The cause of the engine failure is reported to be the loss of fuel in the engines, which possibly is being attributed to the switch position, which is there to start. But the indications in the report are that process has also been completed. So there are questions which have to be asked to the OEM or to those people who run the technical side of it. Why this happened is a question which will be answered only in due course of time. And I don't want to go beyond it because it's beyond my mandate to speak anything beyond that.
All right, Mr. Rudy, thank you very much for speaking with us here on Times Now and sharing with us your perspective on this. We will slip into another very, very short break right now.